Okay, let's proceed for the practical part now. So first of all, like I'm going to create a server. In the meanwhile, I'll ask some questions on Docker. What is monolithic? Single server, multiple services. Okay. So as well as what is microservices? Multiple servers, multiple databases, and multiple services. Sir, which one is better to choose, sir? Hey, depends upon application. Interview also, if you say like this, that's it. So, okay. What is the meaning of containerization? Containerization. I already said. What it is? OS level of virtualization. Or one more meaning is? Huh? What you were saying, I'm not able to get it. Process of packing application along with its dependencies. Okay. So, what is the tool we are using to create containers? Docker is a tool we are using to create the containers. Docker is platform independent or platform dependent? That means where we can run Docker, where we can run it. Where we can run the Docker. It is platform independent, you said. What is the meaning of platform independent? It is the meaning of platform independent. I asked what is the meaning of platform independent. We already discussed a lot of times, right? Can run any platform means what here? Language. Operating system. Okay. So Docker will run on any operating system, but majorly it will support Linux distribution. What is the meaning of host operating system? Host operating system. Where you install Docker is called as host operating system. All in guys, are you able to hear my voice? I'm not getting any response from you. Okay, fine. Okay, so in Docker architecture, we have mainly three components. How many components? What is the component number one? Huh? Client. What is the meaning of Docker client? Docker client meaning? Docker client means takes commands, executes, and give you the output. Okay. Next one, host. What is the meaning of host? The place where you install Docker. What is the meaning of daemon? Daemon will carry every Docker component. Every Docker component need to interact with daemon itself. And what is the registry? Registry means what? To store the images. Sir, what is the meaning of image? I already said. What is the meaning of image? Image. It consists of operating system packages which are already installed. For example, I want to create a container. What I want to create? So when I want to create a container need to have an operating system or not? Operating system I will not install manually. Operating system is coming from image. Operating system is coming from image. So now let's discuss this practical way. I want to install Docker. You know the command. You install Docker -y. Is Docker installing, sir? Docker is a service. So service means we need to start. So systemctl restart or start just to give Docker dot service. Dot service is optional. If you want to give, you can give. Otherwise, it is not required. So here we need to check the status. Okay. Status running now. Active and running. So what is the meaning of Docker service? Means Docker application container engine. Docker service means what? Docker application container engine. So I want to quit. So just to give Q. Sir, now my Docker is installed, sir. My Docker is what? What is the command to check? Docker -v you can use. But if you want full information, just give Docker hyphen version. I mean hyphen is not required, just give Docker version. I think complete information. But Docker client is there. Docker engine is also there. What is missing in the component tier architecture? Registry is missing. What is missing? If you talk about Docker architecture, sir, client, daemon or host, registry. Client is there. Docker engine is there. Docker engine means the place where you install Docker actually, Docker host. Third one, what is missing here? Registry. Is the concept clear? Okay. Sir, now here I want to create a container. What I want to create? I already said container is nothing but your server. But what is the difference? Container is nothing but your server. But what is the difference, sir, here? Container come without operating system. If I want to create a container, we need to follow some commands actually. Let me write the commands here. So it is day 2, right? So let me go here for day 2. Day 2. Okay. So what is the command to install Docker? Install Docker -y. It is a command to install. After installing, what we have done, sir? We have started the service. Starting or restarting, anything is fine. After that, what we have done? Status. And after that, you have seen the Docker version. -v you can use, or also you can use complete Docker version. Is the concept clear now? It is installation of Docker. It is installation. Okay. Sir, now working with Docker. So now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some containers. So these are Docker commands. What is the command to create container means? See, first of all, to create container, we need to have image. What we need to have? The command we need to use is Docker pull. Which command? Docker pull is the command used to get the image from the registry. Where we can get the image from? Registry. To get image from registry. Don't write this, okay? I am writing it right. That's it. So here I am going to use the command Docker pull command. Which command? Docker pull. Sir, I want to create one Ubuntu server. Which server? That means I need to have Ubuntu image. Which image? Ubuntu. Now are you getting Ubuntu, sir, here? Is it pulling the Ubuntu or not? Just to give the command Docker images. Are you seeing Ubuntu image? What is the purpose of using Docker images command? To see the list of images. One second. Okay. What is the command to get the image, sir? Docker pull. Here you can give image name. What you can give? Image name to get the Ubuntu image. So I am giving Ubuntu image from registry. What is the command to list the Docker images? Docker images only. Sir, for example, I want to create a container. What I want to create? The command is Docker run. What is the command, sir? You are creating container from which image? Ubuntu image. If you give this command here, it is going to create one container. What it is going to create? Now your container is created. When you download the image, you see the list. What is the command to see the list of images? But if you want to see the list of containers, Docker ps-a. Are you seeing container is created? Created or not, sir? But container is on exit state. Which state? Exit state. Okay. What is the command to see the list of containers? Docker ps-a. Docker ps-a to list the containers. To list all the, here A means all. But sir, if you want to see only running containers, you need to give Docker ps only. What you need to give? To list running containers only. To list running containers only. Okay. What is the command to get the image, guys? Docker to get the images. I mean, like from registry. Docker pull to list the images and to create a container. Docker run. Okay. As well as to see the list of containers. Docker ps-a. It will show all. But I want to see only running. What is the command? Docker ps. Okay. It's the file. So now what I'm going to do is, sir, when you see this one, container is having some default name. Sad Nightingale. It's a default name. But I don't want to give my default name. I want to give my name only. Which name? My name. Give the same command Docker run Ubuntu. But here after run -- name. What I am giving is Raham1. What I am giving? Now container will get the name Raham1. If you go and see here, are you seeing container name is Raham1? That's it. So just Docker run Ubuntu is common. But in middle what I am adding, say here? -- name to give the name of container. Okay, so that's it. So now here if you see this one, now container is on exit state. Which state container is on? I want to make this running. Container is on exit state. I want to make this as running. So how we are going to make this run means just to give the same command. Docker run Ubuntu is common. Okay, Docker run Ubuntu will create the container. But if you want to give name, what you need to give? -- name. Raham2 I am giving. Why? Because Raham1 is already there, right? I want to go inside of the container. Where I want to go? Just to give -it. -it means interactive terminal. What is the meaning of -it? -it stands for interactive terminal. With the help of this command, you can directly go inside the container. Okay? To go inside of a container. Is the command clear, sir? Now hit enter here. Are you going to inside of the container or not? This is Ubuntu. What it is? How to check means we have a command cat etc os release. What it is, sir? Here the container I am creating from Ubuntu image is my server, Ubuntu server or not. How to check? It is the command. Definitely in interview they will ask. It is interview point of view question. Write this one. Okay. In interview they will ask how to see which flavor you are using on Linux. To see the flavor of Linux. For example, you have a Linux server. That Linux server, you want to see what kind of flavor you are running. What is the command, sir? Cat etc os-release. Okay. What is the command to get the image from registry? Docker pull. What is the command to list the images? Docker images. What is the command to create container? Docker run. What is the command to list the containers? Docker ps-a. What is the command to go inside the container? Docker run -it. IT means interactive terminal. What is the meaning of IT? And hyphen name. What is the command to check the flavor of your operating system? cat etc voice release. Okay. So now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to install some packages. What I'm going to do? So in like operating system like Ubuntu, before installing the packages, we need to update. For example, see, what is the command to install Git, sir? Git or tree. For example, I want to install Maven. What we will give yum install? Maven -y. If we give this, it won't work. Why? Because in Ubuntu, we need to use apt package manager. Which package manager? Already we discussed on Ansible, right? Again, it won't work. Why? Because in Ubuntu, first of all, we need to update. What we need to do? Just to give the command apt update -y. If we give apt update -y, the packages are going to update. Once you update, then only your packages are going to install. Now see here, is my Maven working, sir? Now previously it is not working. Previously it is. Why it is not working? Because we haven't update. I am writing inside container. First of all, apt update -y and apt install Maven -y, and I am also giving node point here. Node point. What is a node point? In Ubuntu, package manager is apt. What is the full form of apt? Means advanced package tool. Is it clear, sir? That's it. So what is the meaning of what is the meaning of apt here? Apt is a package manager on Ubuntu. Full form of apt is advanced packager tool. Of course, some people will call it as packager as well. That's it. So as well as if you want to install some other tools, 1 second, it is still installing. So see here, always depends upon internet speed. Our internet is too slow, right? For that purpose, it is not coming. So now what I'll do is I'll install database as well. What I'll install? Database. So now see what will happen. Paint. Or else let me explain here. So here I have one container. What I have? Container. That is called as Raham2 container. Which container? In this container you install Maven and database. What you are installing? For example, and create some files. Maven as well as MySQL database and some files. Now what you can do is you can go here. So then you need to create an image from the container. What we need to do? Create an image from container. So now what will happen, Docker is OS level of virtualization. Docker is what? OS level of virtualization. That means whatever the packages inside, or not only packages, whatever the content inside the OS will be on image now. Will be on where now? That means, sir, in my operating system, I have Maven, MySQL database as well as files. If I create an image from the container, all these properties are going to come to image. Is the point clear? First of all, I have Raham2 container. What is here? Raham2 container. So in this container, what I'm going to install? Maven, MySQL database and some files. Now, when I create image from the container, that means from this container, I am creating an image. What I am creating, sir? Image. So that means what are the content inside the operating system will come to this image. Is the process clear now? OS level of virtual machine means whatever the content of inside your operating system, every content will come. Inside my operating system, do you have Maven, sir? Now Maven will come to this image. Inside my operating system, I have MySQL. MySQL come to this image. Inside my operating system, I have some files. These files will come to the image. Is the theory clear for all of you? So let's implement on practical. But before that, just to give the command mbn-version. Just to give double hyphen. Are you seeing Maven version here? And install database apt install MySQL -server. It is a command, okay? This command also I am going to give here. apt install MySQL -server-y. As well as create some files. Touch, first of all, create one folder mkdir raham and create some files and give touch abc.txt, for example. Okay, like that. So guys, remember, when you are installing MySQL, you will get some permission denied. It is absolutely fine, don't worry about it. You will get some permission denied. Here are you seeing MySQL is installing. Of course you are getting permissions error, right? Don't worry about it, it's fine. So now if you see here, which version of MySQL you have installed? If you want to check, are you seeing MySQL version 8.0.3? Yes, you have installed. So now create one folder mkdir raham. So touch inside raham folder, create one file. Inside raham folder, create one file abc.txt. Is it clear, sir? So now on my container I have files, I have folders, I have packages as well. Now what I'm going to do is, from this container, I install the packages and I'm going to create an image. What I'm going to create? From the container. How to create an image from the container means, first of all, you need to exit from the container. How to exit from the container means Control PQ. What is the command here, sir? Control PQ. To exit from the container, Control P and Q. To exit from container. Is it clear, sir? So now if you give the command docker ps-a, you will get the container list. Is my container running or not, sir? If you give docker ps only, it will see only running containers. Raham2 is only running here. All of them are exit state. So now from this container, I want to create an image. What I want to create? Command is very clear. The command is docker commit command. Which command? From Raham2, I am going to create an image called Swiggy image. Which image? Swiggy V1. V1 means version 1 here. Sir, do we have Swiggy version 1 image up to now? Up to now, we have only one image. What is that image? Ubuntu image. Which image? Ubuntu image. PS, you give the command docker images. In docker images, what you got? Only one thing, right? In docker images, what you got previously? Ubuntu. But now what I am throwing you? Swiggy V1. Now check it now. Is the image created here? Give the command docker images. Are you seeing Swiggy V1, sir, now? That means whatever the packages inside Raham2 container is coming to Swiggy command. I mean Swiggy version. Which one? This Raham2 container have files, folders and packages. All these packages I have copied to where? To Swiggy image. Now if I create image from this container, all the files of this image will come to container or not, sir? This container will have some packages. I copied the packages to image. Which image? That means if I create container from Swiggy image, all the packages will come or not, sir? Yes, do it. Comment, tell me the comment. Docker run. First one -it. -it means interactive terminal. What is the purpose of using -it? To go inside the container. -name. I am giving the container name is Raham3. Sir, now which image I need to use? Swiggy and colon V1. V1 is mandatory. Now go here. Directly I am giving mvn --- version. Sir, it is my new container, right? But Maven is coming or not, sir? Second one, what we have installed? MySQL -b. Version. Are you seeing MySQL version here? I haven't installed, right? But if you give ls, are you seeing Raham folder? Inside Raham folder, are you seeing abc.txt? Sir, where all these are coming, sir? From the image. Where all these are coming from? From the image. These things are going to come from the container. Okay. See, one more time I'll explain. What is the command to exit from the container? Control PQ. See here. First of all, I create some container. In this container, I have installed packages and I create some files. From the container, what I have created? Image I created. What I create, sir? That means all the packages and files now on where? Image. Now this image will have packages and files. From the image, I create the new container. That means all the packages and files on this image will come to this container or not, sir? That is the process we have done. Is it clear now? So this is the process. What is the command we use to create image from the container, sir? Docker commit command. Which command? Docker commit command. So I'll write this one. Docker commit. Raham2 is the container name. And images I have given Swiggy. Swiggy one. To create image from container. Is the command clear now? Okay. One more time. First of all, what is the command to get the image from Docker Hub? Docker pull. What is the command to create a container? Docker run. As well as what is the command to see the list of containers? Docker ps-a. If I don't give -a, what will happen, sir? Running containers. What is the command to see list of Docker images? What is the command to get out of a container? Control PQ. What is the command to go inside the container while creating? -it. IT means what here? Interactive terminal. What is the command to create an image from the running container? Docker commit. Sir, now this process is done. But here what exactly happen is, we are not going to do the thing. What exactly happen is, we are not going to do the things like this on real time. You copied the whole content from one container to another container with the help of image. Same concept we will do on real time, same concept, but not this method. Whatever the method you have learned, it is manual method. Which method? But on real time, we are going to do it on automation. We prefer manual or automation methods are on real time. Automation. That means you create the container, you go inside the container, you create the files, you create the folders, you install the packages, then you come out of the container, you run a command. All this is manual process. Which process? But in real time, we are going to use automation process. By using which concept, you know? Docker file. What it is? It is an automated method to create Docker images. What is the purpose of using Docker file, sir? automated method to create the Docker images. Okay, in Docker file, D must be capital. D must be what? In single folder, we need to have only one Docker file. If I have one folder, in that entire folder, how many Docker files I need to have? One Docker file. Multiple Docker files we are not going to allow. And Docker file will have some components inside it. Each component starts with each component is on capital letter. Is it clear now? So each right. So Docker is automated method of creating the Docker image. Sir, how we are going to automate the Docker image creation with the help of Docker file? In Docker file, D must be capital. In a single folder, how many Docker files we can place, sir? Only one. And Docker file will have some components inside it. Each component is on capital letter. Which letter? Capital letter. First of all, you will write the Docker file. In real time, you will write the Docker file. Right? Docker file. And after that, we are going to make a build. What we are going to make? If you build it, we are going to get the image. First of all, we will write what, sir? Docker file. If you build the Docker file, what will happen? We are going to get the image. Commit. Sir, what are the components? You said some components in Docker file, right? What are the components on Docker file? Means first of all, from component. Which component? From. Used for base image. So now tell me, I want to create a container. Inside that container, I need to install packages. Listen the point very careful. I want to create one container. What I want to create? Inside the container, I want to install some packages. So now if I want to install package, I need to have operating system or not? That operating system is given from the from image. Which image? If I want to install Git on Ubuntu, apt install Git. If I want to install Git on Red Hat, yum install Git, like that. That means if you want to install any kind of package, you need to have an operating system. What it is? That operating system is going to give from the from component. Which component? From. Use it for base image. So let's create one Docker file here. I don't have any Docker files. VIM Docker file. Remember, for Docker and file, don't give space. Again and again I am telling, for Docker and file, don't give the space. First of all, I am going to take from. Sir, base image I am taking Ubuntu. What I am taking? So after that, next component is run component. Which component? Run component. Run component is used to run commands. For example, see, I want to install Maven now. Whatever the process you have done, manually I am going to shut it automatically. Just to give run. In run, what I am giving? apt install Maven -y. Correct or not, sir? But remember, in Ubuntu, while before running, you need to give apt update. What you need to give? If you don't give apt update, your container will not install packages. Is it clear now? If you don't give apt update, your packages are not going to install. Sir, same like there is one more component called CMD component. Which component? CMD. See, in interview, definitely damn sure question is, what is the difference between run and CMD? What is the difference between run and CMD? Run is used to run the commands during image creation. Sir, when run is going to execute, sir? During image creation. CMD also use it to run the comments. CMD also use it to run the comments. But when during container creation. During where? Container creation. First component is from component. Which component? From is used for base image. Second component is run component. What is the purpose of using run? To run the comments. Whatever Linux comments you have, you can run all the Linux comments. And CMD also run the comments. Sir, when will run execute the comments, sir? During image creation. But CMD will run container creation. So I am giving CMD apt install MySQL -server. Is it clear now? See, I am not doing anything new. Whatever previously you have done manually, I am giving it automation forward, correct or not? apt update, install Maven, this one. Run. Is it clear now? See, I am not doing anything new. Whatever previously you have done manually, I am giving it automation forward, correct or not? apt update, install Maven, this one. Run or command like that. Now I want to create, and if I want to create a folder as well, what I need to give, sir? Folder creation is Linux command. For Linux command, folder touch abc.txt. It is the file to create. And if I want to create a folder as well, what I need to give, sir? Folder creation is Linux command. For Linux command, what we need to give? Run. mkdir what? Folder name. I am going to give the folder name as Raham. What is the folder name? Now see, first of all, from component. Which component? What is the purpose of using from component? To get the base image. And run is used to execute the command. But when? When it will execute? During image creation. CMD will run the commands. Here instead of run, make execute. Better. Instead of run, just make execute. I mean both are same, but better to use execute. That's it. So now I am saving the file, sir. First of all, I'll get the Ubuntu image. Later that what will happen? Update. Later then what will happen? Install Maven. Later that what will happen? Basically. Later that I am going to create one folder and I am going to create a file. File I am not creating on Raham folder. File I am creating normally. If you want to create the file on Raham folder, what you need to give? Touch. First of all, you need to give Raham /abc.txt. Now this file is going to create on Raham folder. Sir, now you create one file, Docker file. After creating the file, what we need to do, sir? Docker build. What is the command for build is Docker build -t and image name. Okay, dot. Here image name can be anything. Image name can be anything. Docker build is the command to build the Docker file. -t means tag here. What is -t? And here you need to give image name. Whatever you want, you can give it. And dot means it is the reference of our Docker file. Sir, currently our Docker file is in present folder or not? Currently my Docker file is on current folder. In Linux, if you want to define current folder, we need to give dot or not, sir? If I give dot, then Docker will know, okay, this Docker file is on current folder only. We need to build this Docker file. Give the command docker run -it. Sorry, not this one. Docker build I need to give -t, and I am going to give the image name. Image name I am giving it as Swiggy. V2 now. Already V1 is given, right? V2 space dot. That's it. First of all, from base image and Ubuntu is updating the command. Step number 2. So your internet is not working. So like not internet. Sometimes the package installation will take some time. Okay, wait for it now. See, if you see the screen got stuck actually. Hmm? 1 second. This got stuck. Let me update this one more time. System got stuck actually. 1 second. I stopped this one and I'm going to run one more time. Okay. Wait for a couple of minutes. It will take some time. So actually the internet is very slow here. So for that purpose, it is updating the package very slowly. Otherwise, it could have been done very speed. The package is installing now properly. So sometimes if the screen will stuck, just give Control Z. If you give Control Z, it will stop and run the command one more time. It happen very rarely. Okay, depends upon your internet speed and like system performance. So now Maven is installing as well as after Maven, what is going to install, sir? MySQL, right? After Maven, MySQL need to install. If you see here, build successful. Build is what? Successfully build this image and tag it to the name Swiggy V2. Is the hyphen tag we have given Swiggy V2 or not, sir? If you see here, hyphen T means tag. What is the name of the image we have tagged? Swiggy V2. So now if you go and see here, sir, I give the command like this. apt install. 1 second, let me open the Docker file. Cat Docker file. In the Docker file, I said run apt install Maven. So while executing this one, see, apt install Maven, all the packages are installing or not, sir? Why it is running means we have used the run component. Which component? Here I said, when you are using run component, it will execute the command during image creation. My image is creating, it is executing. But CMD means apt install MySQL server. Is the command executed now? It is not executed. Why? Because this command is going to execute when we are creating the container. Okay. Run will execute the commands during image creation. Command will execute the command during container creation. Now see, when you create the container, this step will execute. Okay. So now if we go to this image, Docker, images. In this Swiggy V2 image, your operating system is Ubuntu. It is done. You are updating done. You are installing Maven done. but CMD not done. Why? Because it will execute when you create container from the image. It will execute when you create container from the image. Next, run mkdir. This folder is inside this image and file is also inside this image. But what is not inside the image? CMD. Why it will not inside the image? It will run during the container creation. Now create the container. Docker run -it -name. What is the name of the container? 1 second. Okay. So Docker run -it name. Name I am going to give it as Raham. Like how many containers we have? Raham 2 is there, right? 3 is also there. Let me check. Give the command Docker ps-a. So Raham 3 is there, I think so. Yeah, Raham 3 is there. So let's create the container Raham 4 now. Docker run -it. IT means interactive terminal. -name. I am going to give it as Raham 4 now. And which image I need to use? Swiggy v1. Is it clear, sir? Of course, you can use /bin bash as well. What you can use? /bin/bash. Hit enter. Now it is newly created container. It is what newly created container. So my question is, when you give the newly created container, CMD need to execute, right? But sir, our CMD is executed here. Why it is not executed? Just think logically. One small logic is there. Read that entire command. CMD is not executed. CMD execution means you need to get apt install MySQL. But is apt install MySQL executed here? Why it is not executed? Pata. No. I'll give a couple of minutes. Use your brain. I mean, the people only have. So, any ideas? Think. No. No. What it is? Exactly. I give the CMD to Swiggy V2. Cut or not. But here, what is the tag I have given? In V1, we don't have CMD, right? In V1, do you have CMD? If you don't give CMD on V1, how will it will execute, sir? It won't. Come out of the container, give the up arrow and change only one thing. Instead of V1, you need to give what? V2. As well as Raham 4, I need to give Raham 5. But because Raham 4 already container is there, right? Hit enter. What is happening? Nothing, right? So just give mbn -version. Are you having Maven? Give ls. Are you having Raham folder? Inside Raham. Are you having abc.txt? Now what we need to have now? Only one thing. We need to have only this CMD. In CMD, what I have shared, sir? Install MySQL, right? Here, if you see, while I am giving MySQL, have a specified -y here. I haven't specified, right? That means I am not giving permission. If I don't give permission, how it will execute, sir? Think logically. Like these are the mistakes you are going to do on real time as well as practice too. To avoid that mistake, I am doing the mistakes here and I am making troubleshoot instead of you. Actually, if I want to install, I need to give -y. If I don't give -y, it will wait for my permission. That's the reason here MySQL is not installed. If you want to check here, I'll tell on one more method, MySQL -version. Are you seeing it is found, sir? No. Just come out of the container, open the Docker file. Just give only -y here. What I am giving? -y. Same command. Tell me the command docker build -t. We need to build it right. Why? Because I changed something here. Docker build -t Swiggy. You can give v3 or you can use v2. I am using v2 now. Dot. So now image is tagged successfully. Give the same command, but instead of Raham 5, I need to give Raham 6. What is happening, sir, again? If I check MySQL -- version, are you seeing MySQL version fine? I'll execute this command one more time. This time I'm removing bin bash and I'm giving Raham 7 now. Is it working now? That's it. In Docker, we need to learn a lot of things. These are very complicated things. Your containers are going to be very, very complicated. You need to know about each point. If you miss single point, troubleshooting take a lot of times. For that point, I am doing n number of test cases. When I do n number of test cases, are we able to run user file not, sir? If I give bin bash, it is not working. Then what I have done, I have removed the bin bash. After removing bin bash, now CMD is executing the command once I create the container. If I don't create the container, CMD will never execute. Is the difference clear for you now? That's it, sir. Okay. Next component I'm going to discuss. What is the next component here? Copy component. Which component? And there is one more component called entry point. I'll not tell now. Entry point I'll tell later. Copy. Copy is used to copy local files to container. Second one is add. Use it to copy internet files. Okay. So in interview, one more difference. Run and CMD difference is done. Second difference is copy and add. What is the purpose of using copy? Copy will copy the local files to the container. For example, see, I have one container. I'm coming out of it, sir. Now, if you want to check MySQL -- version, are you seeing MySQL version here? Oh, 1 second. I'm out of the container now, actually. Okay, for that purpose, it is not working. Just to give the command vam docker file. But before that, I am going to create one file index.html, vam index.html. Sir, here I am writing the code h1. This is my Swiggy app. Which app it is? Swiggy. So now my question is, I have one local file. What I have? What is the local file here? Index.html. I want to copy the local file to container. In our local, we are having some files. We need to copy our local files to the container. Which component we need to use are here? Copy. See now. VM docker file. So just to give here copy. What I am giving here is copy. Okay. Copy what I am copying? Index.html. To which path I am copying it to TMP path? Which path? TMP path. Okay. Sir, now for example, you are copying local files to TMP folder, but I have one file on internet. If you go to here, let's take the Maven, dlcd and apache.org. Let's go for Maven. In this Maven, Maven 3, 3.6.3, binaries, this star file is there. Sir, Local file you can send to container, but I have one file on internet. From internet, I want to send the file to container. How can it send, sir? Add component. Normally, instead of add, what we can do? We can use wget. See here, we can use wget. If I do wget, this file is on local. Can I use copy component one more time? Use it or not? I'll explain both ways. VM Docker file. What I can do is I can use copy and full file to TMP folder. Which folder? TMP folder, sir. But it is not recommended. It is not recommended. Why? Because you have one file on internet. From the internet you are bringing to local. From the local to container. That means from internet to local. Again from local to container. So this is going to work for the copy module. Which module? Copy. But sir, directly we can copy files from internet to container. For that purpose, we need to use add module. Which one? Like this is not module component. If I give add, okay, I can directly give it shift insert. But instead of /tmp, I am giving opt folder. Which folder? Same file, but I am using on different location. Which location? One is copy. Second one is, what is the purpose of using copy file? To copy the content from local to container. What is the purpose of using add component? Local files to container, and add is used to extract the files as well. Okay, just to give it. Sir, in Docker file you have some content. In Docker file you wrote some content. You want to create an image. You want to create image from Docker file. What is the command we need to run? Docker build command. Which command? -t for tag. You can give Swiggy. Not only Swiggy, you can give whatever name you want. Swiggy V3 I am using this time. What I am using? Of course, you can give V2 as well. Depends upon your requirement. I am giving V3 now. Hit now. Now here it is telling that source cannot be a form of URL. Why? Because what is the name of the file here locally? Apache Maven 3.3.6. But what you have given here? URL you have given. Just think logically. Copy work is to copy the local files, but you are giving the URL. Does URL work for the copy, sir? Again, mistake or not? So for that purpose, what we need to do is remove this URL and give the exact file name. From here, just give it 1 second. Copy. It is the exact name or not, sir? Run it. Is it done now successfully? When I using copy, local file is copied. When I use copy, but when I use add, internet file also copied. Local file is copied to TMP folder. Internet file is copied to OPT folder. No, check it. How to check it means Docker run -it -- name container. So Raham 8. Which image I need to give? Swiggy V3. Hit enter. So now again this will install. MySQL will install. What is installing here? But it is not recommended. I will remove it now. Why? Because you already understand the concept, right? I am not using MySQL installation. I will remove it later. 1 second. Is your MySQL installing? Why it is installing, sir? You specified MySQL on CMD format. Which format? When you give CMD, it is going to run inside the container. Remember guys, some containers by default you go to exit state. Some containers we cannot bring them back. Not all, only few containers. Is it installed now? If we give here Docker ps-a, what is the container name? Container 8. Now container 8 gone to exit state. Remember some comments, some containers if go to exit state, we cannot bring them back. Docker start Raham 8. What is the purpose of using Docker start me? It will start the container. But if we give Docker ps-a, again it go to exit state. So note this point, some components will not, some containers will not started when it go to exit state. Reason is when you are using CMD. Reason is when you are having CMD. Some containers cannot start once if they go to exit state. What is the main reason? Using of CMD property. Like CMD we can use, but no, it is not the way to use. I'll tell it later how to use it. So what I'm going to do is, sir, what is the main issue? CMD is the main issue, correct or not? What I'll do is, I'll open the Docker file and I'll remove the CMD now. I'm removing the CMD. If I remove the CMD, it will start work now. See now, Docker build -t. Oh, sorry. First of all, build it. It is successfully built now. Okay. So now create a container from it. How to create a container? Docker run -it -name, container name v3. Now we are inside the container or not? See here, currently we are inside the container, but previously it is not worked. Why it is not worked? We give CMD there. What we give? When I give CMD, container is going to exit state. Which state? Once it is going to exit state, have we tried to bring it back? No. So now if we go, just to use cd/tmp. In cd/tmp, we will have two files, index.html and Apache tar file. Are you seeing these both files here? It is from copy command. Which command? But if you go to cd/opt, same thing you can see. Same thing or not, sir? But one I have shown you by using copy, second I have shown you by using. Is the point clear? That's it. Now come out of it. Control PQ. If you give Control PQ, you will be out of the container. Okay. So this point where I need to write this one. So difference between copy and add is copy is to add the local files and add is add the internet files. Next one is work-dir. What is the meaning of work-dir? Means takes you to the desired directory. For example, sir, when you open container, by default you will be on root path. When you open container by default, root path. Then if I want to go to /tmp folder, which folder? I can use work-dir. See here, what I'm going to do is open the Docker file. Inside the Docker file, sir, whenever I open the container, by default I need to go to tmp folder. Which folder? Normally you will be on root path. I have shown you. Normally you will be on which path? But now this time when I open container, I need to be on /tmp folder. Which folder? Just save this one. Whenever you make changes on Docker file, you need to build it. What you need to do? Build. Docker build -t Swiggy v3. Now currently if we create container from the image, we will be directly going to which directory? Check it. So tell me the command to create container. Docker run -it name. I am going to give the name as Raham 10. And I need to give image name. What is the image name? Swiggy v3. Oh, sorry, I give v1. Sorry. Instead of v1, I need to give v3 actually. So v3. And instead of Raham 10, I need to give Raham 11. Currently we are on which folder? TMP. But if you see in the previous examples, you go to which path? Root path. But now you are on TMP. How it work on TMP? Work directory. Is the concept clear? Next one is label. What is the next one? Label. Label is used to attach labels. Labels to containers like email, author, and so on. Like you can give whatever labels you want. Okay. So now if I go to the Docker file, see, concentration on the class. Why? Because I am giving the notes, right? Don't write. See what I am telling here. Open the Docker file now. In Docker file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give label now. What I'm giving? Label. So this label, currently Raham is the user who created the container. So I can give the user Raham. What I can give? User Raham. Done the Docker file. Is the label applied now? Applied or not? Before creating the container, I'll tell one command. If I want to see the complete information of a container, the command is docker inspect command. Which command? Docker images. If you give the command docker images, docker images not, docker ps-a, you are going to get all the containers. I want to get full information about container 11. Give the command docker inspect container name. Are you getting full information, sir, here? What is the command here? Docker inspect. Okay. This I'll write it here. Docker inspect and container name. To see the full information of a container. What is the command to see the full information of a container? Inspect. So now here what I'm going to do is, sir, I'm going to create a container from the image. So again, so instead of 11, I need to give the name now 12. And one more thing I'll do is, I will give -itd. What I will give? If you give -it, it will be going to container. But if you give -d, container will create, but it will not go inside the container. Right? D means detached mode. In Docker, D means detached mode. So here also I am writing -it means interactive terminal will go inside container. And here -d means detached mode will not go inside the container. Is the concept clear, sir? IT means interactive terminal. It will go inside the container. Here D means detached mode. Container will create, but it will not go inside the container. Of course, if you want to remove -it, you can remove -it, but I'm not removing this one. So now container created, but have you gone inside the container? No. Docker ps-a. Are you seeing RAM 12? RAM 12 is created, up and running, but have you gone inside the container? Why you haven't gone inside the container? Because I create on detached mode. When you create detached mode, it will create the container, but it will not go inside the container. Sir, now for this container, I have the label. What I have? I want to see the full information. What is the command? Docker inspect container name. If you see, go here. So you will find the labels here. Are you seeing the label here? In label, what is the username, sir? Raham. Sir, like it is very easy to find, but sometimes the information is going to be very big. At that time, what you can use is, can I use grep command, sir? Grep -i. I want to find the username called Raham. What I want to find? Or just to give label. Are you seeing the label here? Only label here you are seeing, but just give labels. Labels only coming. Why? Because here labels is the only one we are searching for. Instead of label, search for the username Raham. Are you finding the username as Raham here? Like that. Okay. Docker inspect will give the complete information. But if you want to only search for one specific word, we can use grep or not, sir. Like that. So now last component for today's class, that is going to be your environment, ENV. What I'm going to talk about? Environment. Environment is used to give the environment variables. ENV. To pass environment variables inside the containers. See, environment variables will work inside the container only. Environment variables will work inside the container. But if you want to pass the variables outside of the container, you can use the arguments. What you can give? Arguments. To pass value from outside of container. Okay. So environment variables will work inside the container. Okay. Environment variables will work inside the, but arguments will work outside of the container. Okay. Environment variables also to pass the value. Arguments also to pass the value, but environment variables will work inside the container. Arguments will work outside of the container. See now, I'll tell you one example. Go here. Environment, I am going to use client Swiggy. What I am giving, sir? Client Swiggy. Arguments I cannot define inside because argument need to come from outside. So just to build it, Docker build -t B3 and create a image from container from it. So now this time 13. What I am giving? 13. Sir, now I want to go inside the container. Can I remove -it? Okay, sir, can I remove -t? Of course, if you don't remove also, it is fine. I'll show you. Now container is created. Docker ps-a. Sir, I want to go inside the container. Container 13. Which container? The command is docker attach. What is the command? Docker attach container name. Are you into the container now? The command to go inside the container. What is the command to go inside the container, sir? Docker attach. I am writing all the commands here on one side. Docker attach container name to go inside the container. Is it clear now? So here on container I pass some variable. What is the variable? Client. So just to give echo dollar client. What is the client, sir, here? Swiggy. Is it passing or not? It is variable. Environment variable will work inside the container. Second one is argument. What is second one? Argument will work outside of the container. That means it is going to pass from the runtime of a container. Just to give PQ. I will explain the argument as well. For example, see, I want to create one database container. So I want to pass the username and password. Username and password I will pass from the container runtime. How to pass means I will show you. Wait. Docker MySQL just to go to Docker Hub. You can get it directly. Inside Docker Hub, if you go to here, or you seen the command here, direct command you can use. Okay, it is a Docker direct command. Sir, here to connect with the database, I need to give username and password or not, sir? If you see here, it is the username. Arguments like environment variables I have defined inside the container, but now I am passing it from the CLI. I am passing it from CLI or not, sir? Hit enter. MySQL tag. 1 second. This image name is wrong. Hyphen D means you know already. What is the meaning of hyphen D? Dashboard. It is the MySQL. Tag I need to use 0.8.33. MySQL. What it is? 8.0.33. Am I able to create MySQL database or not, sir? Here, but here I am using which one? Arguments I am passing. What I am passing? Arguments. Like this. Like these are some other things where you can use. Okay. See here, environment variables I'm passing, MySQL root password, MySQL database, all these are going to be your environment variables. Previously, I defined environment variables inside Docker file, but now I'm passing from the outside of it. If you see Docker ps-a, okay, are you seeing your database port number, sir? I'll show you something very interesting one. Sir, now actually, we need to create database means we need to create server. In that server, we need to install database or not. But now what I am taking is database is already installed on some image, MySQL image. Which image? Directly I am using MySQL image or not. Okay, so what you can use is copy this public IP address. What are the port numbers here? 306. I mean, like we need to give the port forward actually, not this one. 1 second. We need to use the port forwarding concept, but again, I'll tell it on tomorrow's class, not now. So 33060. Actually, port forwarding need to be enabled, and security groups also need to be given all traffic. Okay, so these are not connecting, but like I said it only for the concept purpose. So environment variables I explained one. First one is inside the file. Second one is outside of the file as well. So this is about the Docker file concept. Okay, for today this is sufficient. Story. So now on today's concept, like any doubts or any queries from your end? But before that, let me give the Docker file as well. VM Docker file. This Docker file also I am giving for you. So these are the examples. Okay, practice these examples one by one. Don't practice all of this. First of all, practice up to here. Okay, it is the example 1. And next, this is the example 2, example file 2. Copy and add. So next, work dir is one more example. Okay, just to give it is example 3. Why? Because if you try to practice all of them at a single time, it won't work for you. Practice like this. And lastly, just to give labels like this. And 1 second here, from F is missing. From. Okay, so I'm also giving the name of the examples. It is example 1, Docker file example 1, and it is Docker file example 2. Why I'm giving this one is, if you practice all of them at a single time, you will get confused. For that purpose, I'm giving one by one example. Practice as per it. Example 4. So that's it, guys. So in today's class we have seen only one concept, that is Docker file concept, installing the Docker and writing the Docker file. Okay, so now go to the class and practice all of this stuff. Okay, tomorrow also we are having some more concept I am going to cover in tomorrow's class. So before ending session, is the Docker easy or difficult for you? Actually, it is new for you, not easy or difficult, new for you. If you practice today, from tomorrow onwards, you will get this concept very easily. Okay. If remember, Docker you will get once you practice only. If you don't practice Docker, you won't get it. Okay, go to the lab now. I'll come there. Yeah, this is new topic, right, Nirupa? For that purpose, it is very confusing. Don't worry about it. Okay. So now, any queries or any doubts from your end? Okay, so if you don't have any doubts or queries, we can wrap session for today and we'll meet on tomorrow's class. Thank you, everyone.